In a rough barrio in the heart of Mexico City, on the first night of every month, thousands of people gather in the street. They come to pray, not to Jesus, not to the Virgin. They come to a skeleton in a robe. Her name is Santa Muerte, Holy Death. She is not the Grim Reaper, and she is not a demon. To an estimated 10 to 12 million devotees, she is a saint who answers everyone. And she is the fastest growing new religious movement in the Americas. The Catholic Church has condemned her. The devoted keep coming anyway. This is who she really is, and why. Long before the Spanish arrived, the Aztecs honored a goddess of the underworld, Mictecacihuatl, the Lady of the Dead, who guarded the bones of the departed. She guarded the bones of the departed. Then, Catholic missionaries brought their own image of death, a robed skeleton with a scythe, borrowed from medieval Europe. Two death figures from two worlds met in colonial Mexico. Here's where the popular story and the record part ways. Many say Santa Muerte is that Aztec goddess in disguise, worshipped in secret for 500 years. But scholars are genuinely split. The hard documentary trail doesn't begin in an Aztec temple. It begins in a courtroom. In 1797, a Spanish Inquisition report describes indigenous people who kept a skeletal figure they called Santa Muerte, tying it up and threatening it with lashings if it failed to grant their wishes. That is her first clear appearance by name. For the next 2 centuries, she lived in the shadows, prayed too quietly, at home, out of the church's sight. Almost no one saw her until one Halloween in Mexico City. Tepito is one of the toughest neighborhoods in Mexico City, a dense maze of market stalls known for everything the guidebooks warn you about. It's also where Santa Muerte finally stepped into the open. On the 31st of October, 2001, a quesadilla vendor named Enriqueta Romero, Doña Queta, set a life-size statue of the skeleton saint on the sidewalk outside her home, where the whole street could see it. It was the first major public shrine. Within a few years, thousands were arriving every month. Word spread to other cities, then across the border into the United States. From that one sidewalk, the devotion exploded across Mexico, into Central America, and up into the United States, reaching those 10 to 12 million followers in barely 2 decades. So what does she offer that draws so many? Start with the one thing everyone already knows about death. It comes for all of us, the same way. Santa Muerte doesn't judge. She doesn't ask if you've sinned, who you love, or what you do for a living. Death is the great equalizer. And her devotees say she treats every soul exactly the same. That's why she's called the saint of the people the world overlooks. Prisoners, sex workers, night shift workers, the queer, the poor, the frightened, the ones who feel that ordinary saints look away. She looks straight at them. She's asked for protection, for healing, for love, for justice. There's no moral test at the door. For people the world pushes to the margins, that unconditional acceptance is the whole appeal. Look closely, and every object she holds means something. The scythe, the same blade that harvests wheat, cuts away obstacles and negativity and clears a path forward. The globe in her other hand is the world itself. Death's reach is everywhere. No one on earth is beyond her. Sometimes she holds a set of scales, a sign of justice, of balance, and of a fairness that treats everyone exactly alike. And the owl at her feet sees through the dark. It carries her messages, and it warns of what's coming. Wisdom and a watchful eye in the night. For all of this, the Catholic Church wants nothing to do with her. In 2013, a senior Vatican Cardinal, Gianfranco Ravasi, spoke for Rome. He called the devotion sinister and infernal, a blasphemy against religion. Religion, he said, celebrates life, but here you have death. Mexican bishops have echoed it ever since. She has no recognition and never will. In the 2000s, sensational news stories tied her to the drug world, a handful of shrines that made headlines. But that image is a distortion. Study after study finds that most of her followers are ordinary working people. Vendors, nurses, soldiers, mothers. Many are practicing Catholics who go to Mass on Sunday and light a candle for La Flaquita, the skinny lady, on Monday. Visit a shrine, and the first thing that hits you is color. Her robe and the candles at her feet come in a whole spectrum, and each color is a specific request. White is for purification, gratitude, and protecting the home. Red is for love and passion. Gold for money, work, and prosperity. Black is for protection from harm and reversing curses. Green is for justice and matters of law. Amber for health and recovery from addiction. Blue is for focus and study. Purple for clearing a spiritual path. Bone white for peace in the household. And a single 7-color candle, the Siete Potencias, covers all of it at once. Devotion to Santa Muerte runs on an old rule: reciprocity. You ask for something, and if she delivers, you pay her back with offerings. A home altar holds her statue, colored candles, a glass of water placed first, then bread, fruit, candy, marigolds, a shot of tequila or mezcal. Devotees even blow tobacco smoke over her to cleanse and to thank. Once an offering is placed, it belongs to her. It isn't eaten, and it isn't reused. It's set aside with respect. The exchange itself is the whole point. And on the first of every month, all of it pours into the street. At the original Tepito shrine, the monthly rosary fills the whole block, a river of candles, smoke, and whispered prayers. November 1st is her greatest feast, overlapping the Day of the Dead, but not the same thing. Some devotees crawl the final blocks to her shrine on their knees, in penance or in thanks for a prayer she answered. Many devotees carry her with them. For them, a medallion isn't jewelry. It's a portable altar, worn against the chest, close enough to reach for through the day. Before wearing one, the devout often have it blessed at a shrine or pass it through copal smoke. Casual wearers usually skip that. Informed, respectful wearing is generally welcomed, as long as you know whose image you're carrying. In silver, she takes 2 main forms. The first is the devotional medallion, a praying skeleton in a silver shroud, framed by a radiant brass sunburst, ringed with tiny skulls and crosses. 9 grams of sterling silver and brass, light enough to forget you're wearing it. The second is the band ring, her calaveras and crosses repeating all the way around, here in sterling silver, set with small red garnets that flash when your hand moves. The saint's own motif, worn on the finger. Neither one is a costume. Worn with knowledge of what she means, they're a quiet way to keep her close, the way her devotees always have. Santa Muerte, Holy Death, La Flaquita, the skinny lady, waiting in the candlelight for anyone who calls. The full story is on the blog, linked below, along with the pieces you saw here. Thank you for watching.